Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys my personal interview experience with Goa Institute of Management. Also, I'll be sharing how I got selected for their PGDM Core program via Achievers Round. So before starting my video, I request you all to subscribe to my YouTube channel because in my further video, I'll be sharing how I converted GLIM Gurgaon, and in my next videos, I'll be sharing my other B schools PI interview experience as well. So yeah, let's get into the video and see how I converted the spot offer from GIM. Okay, so the interview took place in two rounds. In round one, there were two panelists. The panelist one asked me questions that revolve around my own personal experiences. For example, questions such as tell me about yourself, the things for which my city is famous for, the questions revolving around my own personal achievements. So more or less my own personal experiences questions were asked. And coming to the panelists too, in round one, questions on my graduation subjects related were asked. For example, I did my graduation in Bachelor's of Commerce, so they asked me what is contingent liability, what are the limitations of financial accounting. So the very basic questions were asked. So for me, round one was not much like grilling. Rather, I felt like they were checking how confident I am, how much communication skills I possess, and how I present myself. So for me, round one was like on a much easier side. They was just checking my confidence and my communication skills. Also, my round one interview lasted for around 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so in round two, again there were two panelists, but I felt this time it was a more bit intense because it was rapid like fire questions being asked. For example, I was asked why not to join family business, why only MBA, why only GIM, and what all values you can add to GIM. So personally, I felt it was a more like a rapid fire questions. Most importantly, situation based questions according to the graduation subjects I was pursuing in were being asked from me. So that was my personal interview experience from round 1 and round 2. Okay, so now here are some tips that help me crack GIM's interview and that can help you guys as well to crack the interview. So the first and the foremost one is they look after your communication and confidence skills. So even if you don't know any answer, stay confident, stay calm, and just simply say sorry sir, I don't know, or sorry ma'am, I don't know, and move on. Okay, so the second tip is try to answer your questions in a very unique manner. For example, I tried to answer the question why GIM, not just simply by saying that I want to join GIM because of the diverse background I'll study with, I'll grow with, I'll learn with. No. Rather than I mentioned the student to faculty ratio. For example, I mentioned that the student to faculty ratio at GIM is 12:1, which will help me in personalized mentoring. I mentioned that the rural and the immersion program at GIM will not only help me to become a good as well as a social responsible leader as well. So how I come to know about these reasons, about the specific reasons of GIM. So what I did was I simply went to the GIM's YouTube channel. I look after their shorts. I went through a lot of their short videos, and hence therein I found that there are n number of videos which were being made by the students, and hence in which the students gave their explanations of the reason why they want to join in GIM. So I simply took 2 to 3 students' reasoning and merged them, and hence I framed my answer in such a way. So you guys can simply do so rather than by just simply mention that I want to learn from diverse background or XYZ, that's why I want to join GIM. No. Try to answer your questions in a very unique manner. Okay, so the third tip is research about the college very thoroughly and try to answer your question in very unique manner for the same. For example, when I was asked the question, what all value you can add to GIM, so I answered the question in two ways. The first way was I answered that what values I can add to GIM inside the classroom, and the second one was outside the classroom. So when it comes to inside the classroom, the answers vary from individual to individual. For example, I mentioned that I can add value inside the classroom by showcasing my leadership skills, specifically in B plan contest, in business presentations. And when it comes to outside the classroom, I thoroughly researched about all the cultures, societies, all the clubs of the GIM by which is mentioned on this club website, and hence I come to know that there's a society known as Ramatas, that is the Culture and Heritage Club. So what I did was, this specifically, the society is about dancing, fitness, cultural activities of the club. So in my introduction, I mentioned that I'm passionate about dancing, and hence from there I took that Ramatas is a kind of society that can align with my answer that I'm framed to. So that I just simply mentioned that I can specifically outside the classroom I can add the value to Ramatas by showcasing my dancing and the fitness skills. So that is how you have to align your previous answers, specifically the values, the all the skills, all the things you're passionate about that you have mentioned in your introduction, to your further answers. So that completely shows that how well you are prepared for interview, and how thoroughly you have researched about the college, about the clubs, about the societies of the college. Okay, so the fourth tip is be very well prepared with the question what other calls you have. Because I have noticed that this is one of the most favorite questions of GIM. So you should be very well prepared to answer what other calls you have. Besides that, you should be prepared for the answer to keep the other calls, all the colleges calls you have in a preference order, and specifically to choose why GIM are the topmost priority. So this is another question that you should be well prepared of. And the last tip is end your interview with a thank you note. Whenever your interview is going to end, just greet by saying thank you sir, thank you ma'am for having me. I feel that's a kind of gesture that looks good. Okay, so that was my personal interview experience and the tips that helped me to crack GIM's interview. So if you have any doubt, you can leave in the comment section. Also, if you want any HR questions framing, you can feel free to book your slot via the link mentioned in the description below. All the best.